What's her name? You can call her whatever you want. You'll be my little angel from now on.
Angel, how did you end up in this place?
She doesn't talk about her past.
You got any big plans?
She can't keep me here.
There's something quietly powerful about stories that take love out of the realm of fantasy and place it in a world that feels unforgiving, raw, and deeply human. This film unfolds in such a world where survival is not guaranteed and where people are shaped as much by their pain as they are by their hope. Set against the backdrop of the California gold rush, the narrative explores not just a physical journey across a rugged land, but an emotional and psychological journey through trauma, trust, and redemption. It's a story that doesn't rush to comfort the audience, but instead invites them to sit with discomfort, to witness brokenness, and to consider what it truly means to love someone who doesn't believe they deserve it. At the heart of the story is a young woman whose life has been defined by abandonment and survival. From an early age, she is introduced to a world that offers her little kindness and even less stability. Her experiences shape her into someone who learns to build walls rather than bridges, someone who expects betrayal instead of compassion. By the time she reaches adulthood, she has become emotionally guarded, convinced that love is nothing more than a fleeting illusion or a tool people use to manipulate and control. Her life is marked by a sense of inevitability, as if she has accepted that her circumstances are permanent and unchangeable. Into this world enters a man who is, in many ways, her complete opposite. He is not naive, but he carries with him a belief in goodness that feels almost out of place in such a harsh environment. Where she sees danger, he sees possibility. Where she anticipates rejection, he offers patience. His presence is not overwhelming or forceful. Instead, it is steady and persistent, like a quiet force that refuses to disappear. He doesn't try to fix her in the conventional sense, nor does he approach her with pity. Instead, he meets her where she is, acknowledging her pain without allowing it to define her entirely. Their relationship begins under unusual circumstances, shaped more by necessity than by romance. At first, there's a clear imbalance in how they view the connection. For him, there is a sense of purpose and commitment, while for her, it is simply another situation to endure. She remains distant, emotionally detached, and constantly prepared to leave at the first sign of vulnerability. This dynamic creates a tension that runs throughout the narrative, as the audience is left wondering whether genuine connection can grow in such uneven soil. As the story progresses, the environment plays a crucial role in shaping the characters' experiences. The California gold rush is depicted not just as a historical setting, but as a symbol of both opportunity and desperation. It's a place where dreams are pursued with relentless intensity, often at the cost of morality and compassion. People are driven by the promise of wealth, yet many are left with nothing but disappointment and loss. This chaotic and often brutal backdrop mirrors the internal struggles of the characters, particularly the young woman who feels trapped in her own version of survival. What makes the narrative compelling is its refusal to simplify the idea of love. It does not present love as an instant cure or a magical solution to deep-seated pain. Instead, it shows love as something that requires endurance, sacrifice, and most importantly, choice. The man's commitment to the woman is not portrayed as blind devotion, but as a conscious decision he makes repeatedly, even when faced with rejection and heartbreak. His patience is tested time and again, yet he remains steadfast, not because he is immune to pain, but because he believes in something greater than his own comfort. For the woman, the journey is far more complicated. Her struggle is not just about accepting someone else's love, but about confronting her own sense of worth. She has spent so much of her life believing that she is undeserving of kindness, that even the smallest acts of compassion feel foreign and unsettling. This internal conflict is portrayed with a quiet intensity as she oscillates between moments of vulnerability and instinctive retreat. Each step forward is met with an almost immediate step back, creating a cycle that feels both frustrating and deeply authentic. The film also explores the idea of identity and how it is shaped by both past experiences and present choices. The woman's identity has been constructed around survival, leaving little room for anything else. She sees herself through the lens of her trauma, unable to imagine a version of herself that is free from it. The man, on the other hand, sees her potential rather than her past. This difference in perspective becomes a central theme, raising questions about whether people can truly change, and if so, what it takes for that change to occur. As their relationship evolves, there are moments of genuine connection that hint at what could be. These moments are often quiet and understated, emphasizing the gradual nature of trust. A shared glance, a simple gesture, or a moment of honesty becomes significant because of how rare and hard-earned it is. These small breakthroughs serve as reminders that transformation is not always dramatic or immediate. Sometimes it is built through a series of subtle, almost imperceptible shifts. However, the narrative does not shy away from setbacks. Just as the characters begin to make progress, they are confronted with challenges that threaten to undo everything they have built. These challenges are not just external, but deeply internal, forcing the characters to confront their fears and insecurities. For the woman, this often means reverting to old patterns of behavior, pushing away the very thing she needs most. For the man, it means grappling with the limits of his own patience and understanding. The tension between hope and despair is a constant presence throughout the story. There are moments when it feels as though the characters are on the verge of something meaningful, only for that hope to be disrupted by doubt and fear. This ebb and flow creates a sense of realism, reflecting the complexities of human relationships. It acknowledges that growth is rarely linear and that setbacks are often an inevitable part of the process. Another important aspect of the story is its exploration of forgiveness, both of others and of oneself. The woman's journey is not just about accepting love, but about learning to forgive the circumstances that shaped her and the choices she has made along the way. This is perhaps one of the most difficult challenges she faces, as it requires her to confront parts of herself that she would rather ignore. Forgiveness is portrayed not as a single act, but as an ongoing process, one that requires courage and vulnerability. The man's role in this process is significant, but not all-encompassing. He cannot force her to change or to see herself differently. What he can do, and what he consistently chooses to do, is to offer a different perspective, one that is rooted in compassion and understanding. His presence becomes a kind of anchor, providing stability in a world that often feels unpredictable and harsh. Yet the story makes it clear that true transformation must come from within the woman herself. Visually and emotionally, the film leans into its setting to reinforce its themes. The rugged landscapes, the harsh conditions, and the sense of isolation all contribute to the overall tone. There's a rawness to the environment that mirrors the emotional state of the characters, creating a cohesive and immersive experience. The use of light and shadow, the contrast between moments of warmth and coldness, all serve to enhance the storytelling in subtle but effective ways. As the narrative moves toward its conclusion, there is a sense of culmination, not in the form of a grand resolution, but in the quiet acknowledgement of change. The characters are not completely transformed, nor are all their problems neatly resolved. Instead, there is a sense that they have reached a point of understanding, both of themselves and of each other. This understated approach to resolution feels consistent with the overall tone of the story, emphasizing authenticity over spectacle. Ultimately, the film is less about the events that take place and more about the emotional journey of its characters. It asks difficult questions about love, trust, and self-worth without offering easy answers. It challenges the idea that people can be fixed by others, instead suggesting that true healing comes from a combination of internal reflection and external support. The relationship at the center of the story serves as a vehicle for exploring these themes, providing a lens through which the audience can examine their own beliefs and experiences. What lingers after the story ends is not a sense of closure, but a feeling of contemplation. It invites the audience to consider what it means to truly see someone, to look beyond their past and their defenses to the person they could become. It also raises the question of whether we allow ourselves to be seen in the same way, or if we hide behind our own fears and insecurities. In this way, the film extends beyond its narrative, offering a reflection on the nature of human connection itself. There's a quiet courage in the way the story approaches its themes, refusing to simplify or romanticize the complexities of love and healing. It acknowledges the pain that often accompanies growth, while also holding on to the possibility of something better. This balance between realism and hope is what gives the narrative its emotional weight, making it resonate on a deeper level. In the end, the story is not just about two people finding each other in a difficult time and place. It's about the choices they make, the risks they take, and the willingness to confront the parts of themselves they would rather avoid. It's about the idea that love, in its truest form, is not just about feeling, but about action, about showing up even when it is difficult, and about believing in something even when it feels uncertain. And perhaps most importantly, it's about redemption, not as a single moment of transformation, but as an ongoing journey, one that requires patience, resilience, and an openness to change. It suggests that no matter how far someone has fallen or how deeply they have been hurt, there is always the possibility of something more, something better, if they are willing to take that first, often terrifying step towards it.